We've had a great mare. We have got a great mare. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Where now from here?
I'll think about that tomorrow. Yeah,
all right. Yeah, just enjoy the moment for the time being.
Yeah, no decision.
And just to bring you up to date, that Brett did say that she may be a little sore on pulling up.
No, I didn't hear that.
So that might have had something to do with what happened in the home straight.
She's done a good job for a sore horse, hasn't
she? Kenny, well done.
Thanks very much, Peter.
A very happy Ken Keys after the win of Flushed in race 7. The Trowers Carlton Draft Matriarch Stakes, a listed race, and as Gary Willett said, that certainly does make a big difference to the value of that horse. As we look at the full results, the winner comes back to scale. Another terrific ride by Brett Prebble, 8 for the Carnival. He was magnificent here 2 years ago. He was fantastic in breaking the record last year, and he's been outstanding again in the year 2000. And he's still got 2 races to go, so who knows? He could win on a broomstick at the moment. Brett Prebble dismounts. We head to a break. You're watching the final day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival 2000 on Network 10 around Australia. Hope you're enjoying it.
8:30 Tuesday.
That's what it's all about. They work very hard, don't they? There's Prebble again. And that's what you see so often during this week. Owners, punters, absolutely elated and thrilled to grab a winner during Melbourne Cup week. Correct weight we're after from Mr. Gleeson. He's having a small conversation with somebody there. Doesn't look like it's bothered him too much. The wave is about to come.
Correct weight?
There it is. Weight is right. So Danny upstairs for the dividends.
Yes, Tim, Flushed firmed into $6.60 for the win and $2.50 for the place, $2.80 for number 1 Nova Claus, and $4.40 for Tickle Mine number 3. Quinella paid $28.40, the exacta $61.90, the trifecta $872.30, running double 1 and 18 paid $266.90. So right down the bottom, but it was well in the market there, Flushed, Tim, in that 7th event. So what was the wash up downstairs?
Yeah, it was the best backed in the last 90 seconds. Hopefully you got on. It was a dramatic short, and it was number 18 Flushed. They left the money in the bag with the early plunge on Avilda Race 8. The Queen Elizabeth Stakes doesn't get too easy. It's a very, very open race. Each way odds, the field in this, Cronus is well thought of, and so too is Oxford Dollar and the unlucky non-Melbourne Cup horse, May Shield. And Pete, someone tipped me that last winner at about the 100-metre mark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was nice of him, wasn't it?
Yeah, a bit too late then, but she certainly did a right-hand turn coming up the straight, Flush, but got there, and let's hope she hasn't pulled up too sore.
Gary Willits did pick her on top, so
yes.
well done, Gary.
Well done to Gary Willits. Now on to the 8th, and it is the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, and we're going to have a look at the tote figures here. May Shield has come up the favourite. Well, it's going to walk out of the gates, you would think.
Well, it always does, Peter. It always misses the start, but it can run on in its races.
Can you find the winner, Jen?
Yeah, I like number 7, Fuss. I thought her run in the Caulfield Cup was pretty good, and certainly not disgraced running 4th behind the Saab winner in Brew. So I think she can go on with it. Number 4, Oxford Dollar, I was giving an each-way chance to, and of course number 1, Cronus. He's a pretty good horse, and I'd throw him in a trifecta.
Yeah, I actually thought that Oxford Dollar was the one to beat, but I'm a little bit worried about the condition of the track now because it does need it fairly firm. Dan Malicki's also gone for Oxford Dollar. Fuss and Comforts also get mentions along with Cronus and May Shield. So there's plenty of chances here in race 8. And let's see what the Strathfield race predictor is doing.
Come on, Pete. You promised to take us to the
Strathfield
champagne bar.
race
Come on.
Who are these women? 12, 7 and 6 for the Strathfield race predictor. I know that I said I'd go to the champagne bar, but I've got work to do. Krista Vendy, Kylie Smith, stop it. Leave me alone. Got work to do.
Come on.
The next... I've got to go, Tim.
Let's go.
I've got to go. See ya.
You see, what happens on Stakes Day is everything gets just a bit shabby and just a tad too relaxed is what happens. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't come back. So that means it's all up to me, kids in here. Are you worried? Because I am. Emirates Stakes Day of 2000. And I tell you what, you also know when it's Stakes Day because for some reason the Seagulls seem to know that the Melbourne Cup week is finished and they descend on the place. And as I said, a little bit of rain was around, but isn't bothering anybody, as you can see. Presentations are ready for the 7th race.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure for Trower to be associated with this marvellous series, Queen of the Spring. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Warren Brown, Vice President of Sales of CUB, our very good sponsors, to present the trophy to the successful connections. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Mr. Chairman, committee. Yeah.
And there's the winner as we take a break. The next is the Group 2 Queen Elizabeth, worth $150,000. It's the closing stages of the Melbourne Cup Carnival, live right around Australia and right around the world on Network 10. On the other side of this break, come back with us for the Queen Elizabeth.
Everybody out. A little slow to begin the attack, and then they go out and line coming around and doing next busy. So what a run! Testarossa wins it from Weasel.
You win a Group 1 during Melbourne Cup week and you are on the moon. You're so high, the Capellans thrilled there. And what about Testarossa? Big, relaxed, beautiful thing he is. What a great racehorse. I'm going to use the word great now, whether they think it's overused or not. By the way, the Honda competition is closed now. No more phone calls on the Honda competition. We'll announce the winner a little bit later on. Now, fashions on the field throughout the week have several themes, and today, because the kids are here, it's kids' fashions on the field.
Well, it's been a big day down here at the Maya Tiak Kids Fashions on the Field today, because today really is a day for the kids. And of course, in our first category, which is ages from 6 to 12, there can only be one winner in the boys and one winner in the girls. And this, of course, is the beautiful Alicia and the very handsome Nick, both winners today. And how about the prizes you've won? What are you going to do with all the money, all the spending money and the home television unit and all that sort of stuff? Bit happy?
Yeah, I'm happy, but I don't know what I'll do with it.
Oh, well, have you got older brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be telling them just yet, okay? Not just yet. And Alicia, you look just beautiful. Now, where did you get your outfit from today?
From Melbourne.
From Melbourne? Travelled all the way to Melbourne?
Yeah.
Did Mummy help you pick this out?
Yeah.
Well, I think you just look absolutely beautiful today. Just gorgeous. And you've got your Maya Basil bear. What about you? Where's your Maya Basil bear? You didn't get one? Well, where's that really big one? There he is. Come over here. Maybe you could take this one home instead. There you go. There's your very own Maya bear. There you go. Everyone's happy now. Oh, yes. It's a bit big, isn't it? I think his eyes are a bit crooked.
Don't know whether Mum would be all that wrapped in that idea. Didn't they look great? Everyone goes to such a lot of trouble and has such a lot of fun here on Emirates Stakes Day of 2000. Now, tomorrow at 1 o'clock on the network, we're crossing to Rally Australia in Perth, the last day. And as we cross to Bill Woods, Bill, I understand that it's not been the best weekend so far for the Fords.
Well, Tim, we always thought Telstra Rally Australia would be special because it's the second last round in the World Championship and still 5 contenders for that championship, separated by 17 points, the top 4 separated by 6 points. But now it's controversial because 2 of those contenders, both driving for the Ford team, are out. Carlos Sainz, the most spectacular, late last night, in fact approaching midnight, the stewards disqualified him from Telstra Rally Australia for making an illegal stoppage at the end of a stage. He was trying to contrive the result. It was a tactical move that backfired. His teammate, Colin McRae, earlier that day had mechanical problems and was forced out of the rally. So there are 3 contenders left now. The man who leads the championship, Marcus Gronholm, by 5 points, is only seconds away from Richard Burns, the man chasing him. 4-time world champion Tommy Mäkinen. He's a long shot. He's 17 points off the pace in the World Championship, but he is also very much up the front in Telstra Rally Australia. If he wins this in the final round, he's still a mathematical possibility of taking out the World Championship. So lots of excitement still to come. We're back at Langley Park tonight, 7:30 p.m. Perth time, and this will be an amazing stage indeed because it's been so spectacular. A revised stage in 2000, and the crowd has been big and absolutely loving it. Tomorrow, 100 competitive kilometres. That's when they'll go flat out for the major prize, and we should see some amazing action from 1 to 5 Eastern Daylight Saving Time on your home of motorsport, and that includes a live telecast of the final stage of Telstra Rally Australia from Sodico. Should be great.
Yeah, always is, Bill, and can be a little bit hairy too, so make sure you're watching Telstra Rally Australia, 1 o'clock tomorrow on 10, but of course it's always a good idea to check your local guides for the times. Do that and come back and join us on the other side of this break as Emirates Stakes Day winds down for 2000. Family Day, all right. I tell you what, the amount of times I saw a mum chasing a 2-year-old around the place today, I'd love $1 for every time I saw it. But they're having a ball, they really are. And the rain has stayed away by and large, and we're thankful for that. I'm sure the VRC are too. Just a beaut day, very relaxed, on the blanket, with a glass of something or other, and it's just fantastic. We've thoroughly enjoyed this week, and I know the VRC are absolutely thrilled. 300 and something or other. We'll get the crowd for today, but we think about 340, 350,000 maybe for the week. It's just amazing. You know, jockeys don't go to work in a suit and tie. Their work is very dangerous indeed, and their days are very long and very tough. We followed Sam Hyland around for a day to show you that a jockey's life may be grand, but not always glamorous.
For a life of such uncertainty, with its danger, excitement,
I just won the Melbourne Cup!
dizzy heights and crashing lows, it's strange that the jockey always starts his day in dreary and predictable fashion. In the black silence of Berwick at 4 a.m, this young man is embarking on a day, different, but yet like any other. It's a tough, disciplined life, but rich with rewards for those willing to make the sacrifices.
I've always been pretty good at getting out of bed. You know, I don't have too much trouble. Like, comes to 4 o'clock and I just get up, you know.
Meet Sam Hyland. Not yet the most glamorous jockey around, but certainly one of the busiest. His day starts even earlier than most because instead of riding track work close to home, he chooses to drive more than an hour to the other side of Melbourne to racing's headquarters at Flemington.
I just thought that it'd be good to go and ride work for someone like Brian Mayfield Smith, you know. I mean, last season he had the best strike rate out of any trainer in Melbourne.
Sam will have driven 60 kilometres and ridden 5 horses in track work before the sun has come up. It's the sort of dedication which typified the riding career of his father, Pat.
For his whole career as a jockey, he was with Jim Maloney, and then here's his son, you know, having his first ride at the Melbourne Cup for Jim Maloney, and it was a horse called Saburin, who was probably 250 to 1, and he ran 11th, so it gave us all a big thrill, beat half the field home, and it was just a terrific day.
Like all ambitious young riders, Sam dreams of winning the Melbourne Cup. But he knows that the hard work comes first. And that's why after riding work, he heads over to Caulfield to ride a barrier trial for John Maloney, son of Jim. Then it's back home for a quick shower and back in the car again to Mornington races. With the advent of Sunday racing, it's now virtually a daily ritual for the workaholics like Sam.
Last year, I had 1,080 rides last season, and I rode 26 days in a row in 1 month last year, you know, and it probably takes its toll after a while.
Sam's first ride at Mornington is in the 3-year-old maiden for his father. First starter, Miss Sally, finishes a promising 5th, and as he returns for the post-mortem, Sam is not at all daunted by dealing with his famous father. Next up is another maiden, Dame River, and this time it's a triumph for Sam and veteran trainer Ian Saunders.
Definitely, when you're on your way home from the races and you've ridden a winner, it's such a, well, it's a lot easier, the drive home, isn't it? But that's what all the hard work's all about.
Dinner is steak and steamed vegetables, and then it's into bed by 8:30 to prepare to do it all over again the next day.
It's hard work, I tell you. They might be small, but they're tough and they're durable. The jocks, they have to be, that's for sure. Now, the Queen Elizabeth, not far away. It's a great race, been won by some great racehorses too. The mighty Hyperno won it twice in 1979 and 1980. You've got to be a pretty good horse to win it. It's on the other side of this break. Welcome back to Flemington. Walk-up start, but that was Grandad and grandson. There's Bart, always a presence here. on the mobile phone, probably socially, I would suggest, not a bet involved there. Before the break, I mentioned you have to be a pretty good horse to win the Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Well, this one, there was none too much better than him. You know, it was a little bit sad to watch Might and Power come back and struggle in his comeback races and finish last in a couple of them, but 2 years ago, he won the Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
Here he is. We've got a good chance to see him here, and he's something else.
When you own a horse of that magnitude, it's not that it's an achievement, it's just a blessing, you know. It's something that you win and bought, and no one knows what's going to happen or how it's going to start or where it's going to finish.
But I know one punter who took 50 to 1 on just to show his grandkids in about 25 years' time.
Yeah. All set to go. Gates crash back. Away they go now. Bolter, in fact, the first out from Might and Power. Bridle Men going up in the centre.
Maybe we just knew something that day.
Yes, a funny thing, you know, there was an eerie thing about that day.
Yeah.
You're very, very true, Pete, and that's why. It's funny how it happened after that, you know. It kind of went downhill.
And Might and Power settles down well. He leads 3/4 of a length to Bolter. Nobody really pestering him either.
And Jimmy didn't really let him down to the last 100 yards, you know. And then he went away from him, winning away at 5.5 then. But he had to nurse him with the 60 Ks on his back. He had to do that, and he rode him perfectly. But they were an unbelievable combination, Jimmy and Might and Power.
He's the Might, he's the Power, and the glory of Australasian gallops. Might and Power extending. He's a modern-day champion.
What a great horse. Funny thing, you know, when he came back, I saw Jack down, I'm just looking at his legs. And I walked up to Jack, I said, Jack, what's wrong? He said, we're not going anywhere, because he said, I'm not happy. I said, what's wrong? He didn't know, you know, what was wrong, but he had also had that feeling at that point in time.
But Jimmy, how good is he? The best you've ever ridden? Good enough to take on the world, mate.
Let's just pause and listen and soak up the moment. Remember the day we saw one of the great champions of the Australian turf.
He's just been unbelievable, you know. He's just a people's horse.
And look at the crowd just thronging around him, just to get a glimpse, maybe to take a photo. And they will be talking about him for as long as he's racing and long after he's stopped.
He was magnificent, that big, proud head. I tell you what, like Gunsynd and Kingston Town and many others, he knew he was a winner. Might and Power, what an absolute champion racehorse he was. Peter Donegan, did you come back?
Yes, I did come back, Tim, and I came back to see that piece too.
Now, had Krista Vendy invited me to the Champagne Bar, I doubt I would be back.
Oh, well, clearly she's been driving with me all day, so I just had to get rid of her and tell her that.
I think he's going to meet her there afterwards.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Might be too far away.
Yes, definitely. But wasn't it great to relive that memory? I'll tell you something, Tim, that I think that is one of the most emotional days I've ever spent at the races. It was eerie watching that race that year, wasn't it? And we didn't know why at the time.
Oh, fantastic. It really was. And when you see that piece, Peter, it really does send the tingles down your spine again, doesn't it? Because he was just fantastic, Might and Power.
And one of our producers, John Palmer, did say to me that he loved the horse, and a lot of people who don't normally take an interest in racing love that horse because he was a front runner, and he got out there and he did it all.
And he tried his hardest.
He was one of the greatest horses I've ever seen. It was 2 years ago on this day that he won his last race.
Yes.
So we've got the Queen Elizabeth coming up, and one thing we can say with absolute certainty, there's no Might and Power in this field.
Definitely not, but we've still got some good horses.
Yeah, and we've still got a winner to be found, so let's find it. Cronus number 1, Glenn Boss, the rider for Roger James.
He ran third in the Moonee Valley Cup behind Yippee-Yo and Brew. Now, if that's not good form, I don't know what is.
Oh, no.
And he's on the same trail here as last year when he ran third in this race. He's a chance.
Number 2, Ancient City, Colin Alderson, the trainer, and Patrick Payne is the rider, having tasted the big race success today.
He didn't really fire a shot at all in the Moonee Valley Cup, this horse. He is better than that, so if you want to forgive him for that run, he's some chance in this race.
Number 3 is Frenzal Rom. The music fans might be on this one. Darren Gauci is the rider for John Hickmott.
At Cheltenham last start, Peter, he had 59.5, and he was just a class above that field there. He's a very honest stayer, so he's going to enjoy the distance, and with 54, he's not out of it either.
Now, Bart didn't have a runner in the Melbourne Cup the other day. He's got Oxford Dollar here, maybe some consolation. Loomed up in the McKinnon, much better race than this was, but I'm really starting to get concerned about the state of the ground here, Jen.
Yes, it is a concern because he does like it very dry, but Peter, it wasn't a bad run there in the McKinnon. He was forced to make a wide run, and I think it's probably D-Day for him really today, and he's there with some chance.
Yeah, we'll talk something about what Bart said to me on Saturday in just a moment. Number 5, Sav Rocker. That's the horse, not the former Collingwood and now North Melbourne full forward. Brett Preble is the rider. Can he do it again? He's up to 8 already. This is the Geelong Cup winner.
Yes, he's racing in great heart, this horse. He got a really nice run through in the Geelong Cup and he went on to win quite well. It's a similar type of race here. Here's some chance.
There's Mayshield number 6, and one thing we can probably say with certainty is that he'll be last when the gates open.
Well, if he does improve his barrier manners, Peter, he might just put himself into this race. He's got a lot of ability, but he's just got to get away on time.
I thought Fuss number 7 had a pretty good each-way chance at around the $10.40 mark. Hasn't been the worst lately?
No, not at all, Peter. Her form's been very good. A surprising 4th there on the slow track, and this track is not too bad compared to Saturday. I think it was a little bit wetter there. I've given her a good each-way chance.
And Zarte has also got a good each-way chance to be ridden by Jimmy Byrne coming out of gate 1.
Yes, Zarte beat a restricted bunch of horses there at Moonee Valley. I think a little bit tougher here, but with 51 kilos gets him nicely.
So let's take a look at the tote figures as they stand as they go to the gates for the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, a Group 2 event over 2,500 metres, the 47th time they've run this. Dan Malicki, Cronus the favourite, but it's an open race.
It certainly is. Cronus $4.30, $12 for Ancient City, $15 Frenzal Rom, $5.40 Oxford Dollar, $7.20 Savrocker, $5.70 Mayshield, $10 Fuss, $25 for Comforts. Couple more at big odds, Macabeo and Ultra Smug. And numbers 10 and 11, and Zarte at $7.50 is well in the market. But a pretty even race here, Pete, as the runners arrive at the starting stalls.
Thank you very much, Daniel, and we'll check in with Tim Gossage shortly. There are the panel selections: Fuss from Jennifer, Comforts from Richard Friedman, Cronus from John Letts, Oxford Dollar without any confidence at all now from myself and probably Dan, and Mayshield, Gary Willett. So we've got a few coming up here. It's only a small field, so it'll be a race of tactics, 11 running. They start at the 200-metre mark in the home straight in front of the grandstands up near the clock tower, the famous Flemington clock tower, run to the judge, and then they complete one circuit of this famous Flemington track, which is about 2,300 metres, which is much further than Tim Gossage would be able to run.
Very funny. They've come for Cronus. They're jumping out of the trees to get on him, Pete. They certainly back number 12 Zarte early. It's got the drifts, but Cronus is clearly the one they want in the ring. But Jimmy Byrne's come down from Brisbane to ride Zarte. It's his only ride for the day.
Yeah, it's a long way to come, and he is a very good rider. He is a Group 1 jockey, Jimmy Byrne. Roy Higgins has joined me prior to the start of the Queen Elizabeth.
They're about to jump, Pete. I'm going with the top and the bottom, Cronus and Zarte, the 1 and the 12. Mayshield, if he jumps away, I think will prove hard to beat today. Oxford Dollar, unfortunately, the rain's going to has cut the track up. It's going to make it a bit difficult, but by G, did look well. I'm up to 1, 12, 6 and 4.
Thanks very much, Roy. Roy Higgins joining us courtesy of Sport 927. There's one to go in. Gary, quickly, what did you like?
Number 1, that'll do me, Peter.
And that's Cronus, wears blinkers and a shadow roll, which you don't see too often. Mixture of both. Has added gear. He's a little bit toey, Cronus, second from the outside. Now they're standing up better. Off they go. Mayshield stood there again, missed it 5 lengths, but that's not unusual for him. Does it all the time. Zarte and Comfort's the best two to jump out. Comfort's in search of the lead. In third spot, Fuss on the inside of Cronus, who works his way across, one off the rail out of the straight, so he gets to third now, the favourite. In fifth position, racing wide, Frenzal Rom, but pressing forward around Ancient City and then Macabeo. Next is Savrocker, also obliged to sit out 3 deep in the early stages from Oxford Dollar and Ultra Smug, and about 5 lengths away to Mayshield. 2,000 metres to travel, and the 3-year-old in front, Comforts, leads by a length. Zarte left the fence. He wants to pull a little bit though, running second, and Frenzal Rom was trapped 3 wide. He's allowed to stride now, and he quickly goes up to join Comforts, and they clap on the speed. Zarte now third, Fuss getting a cosy run on the rails. It's fourth as Frenzal Rom took up the running. Cronus is fifth. It's 1 off the rails and 3 wide Savrocker. Then Macabeo on the inside of Ancient City. 2 lengths away Oxford Dollar. Leaders putting on the brakes again up in front. Then second last Ultra Smug, and still 4 lengths away Mayshield. About 1,600 metres to travel. Savrocker, who was trapped out wide, has now worked its way forward, and the big grey took up the running. So it's Savrocker by 2 lengths to Comforts, and Frenzal Rom is now back to third. Fuss is fourth, and fifth is Zarte. A length and a half Macabeo. They were followed a length away by Cronus. 2.5 to Ancient City, 2 lengths Oxford Dollar, 3 lengths Ultra Smug, 2.5 to Mayshield, who's now about 12 to 14 lengths off the lead. 1,200 metres to travel. Savrocker in front with Brett Preble trying to make it 9 winners for the carnival. Savrocker a length and a half to Comforts. Third Frenzal Rom, Fuss is fourth on the inside of Zartea, then Macabeo. A length away Cronus, it's running seventh and about 5 lengths from the leader. 2 lengths to Ancient City and then Ultra Smug. Oxford Dollar second last, ridden very quietly, and still 2 lengths away was Mayshield. About 700 metres to travel, and Savrocker just in front, where they're packing up around it now. Savrocker, Fuss going up on the rails. Comforts, Frenzel Rom and Zartea's the widest runner. He'll be tracking a very wide course coming around the turn. Macabeo, Cronus is running on, then Ancient City, Mayshield, Oxford Dollar. So they are stretched across the track, rounding the turn. Widest runner was Zartea going up to Comforts. Fuss cut the corner. Cronus and Mayshield to the outside are running on strongly. Plenty of chances at the 400 metres. Fuss may have taken the lead. From Savrocker coming back. Ultra Smug with it. Mayshield out wider from Cronus. It's Savrocker going to a narrow lead from Ultra Smug. Mayshield down the outside. It's Savrocker and Ultra Smug, the 2 greys from Mayshield. Savrocker in front. Preble getting plenty out of it. Savrocker a half a length in front of Ultra Smug, and Preble's done it again. 9 winners. Brett Preble wins it a length. Ultra Smug second. Third home was Mayshield. Then Fuss. Next home Macabeo. Cronus next, and then Ancient City. Comforts, Oxford Dollar, Frenzel Rom, Zartea at the back.
Well, he just summed up the situation around about the 1600 metre mark, Dan. They chopped and changed the pace a bit. Cronus got a little bit of the backwash, but Brett Preble just let Savrocker stride, and he's such a great judge of pace. He just controlled the race from that point on.
Gee, when you're hot, aren't you?
Yeah,
he is just in incredible form. 7.90, 2.30 Savrocker. Ultra Smug ran a brave second, 13.90. The 2 greys fighting it out, and Mayshield at 2.10.
What about Mayshield?
Gee, he's a pest, isn't he?
Oh.
He just keeps missing the kick, and he sucks you in all the time. He's got so much ability. It must be so disappointing he can't actually
out
produce
of the barrier.
Yeah, but he's run a mighty third Mayshield, fourth in number 7, fifth in number 10. But 9 winners again for the Carnival, equalling last year. Brett Preble, that's incredible. One race to go, who knows?
That's right, here's the 2 greys. Brett Preble on the furthest to the outside rail in the orange, goldy colours. Inside him is Ultra Smug. And the one on the outside is the one that would break your heart if you owned him, Mayshield. He gave him about 5 lengths start out of the barrier, and he's running, you know, within about a length and a half of the winner.
Cronus, pretty disappointing too, running about 6th. Here's Peter.
Thanks very much, Dan. Yes, the winning trainer, Jeff Rogers. Jeff, I bet you were surprised when you saw him up the front.
I thought that was his last ride for me. Yeah.
But that's what makes him a great jockey sometimes. He obviously summed it up beautifully.
Yes, let him stride. He had to do that, I suppose. Yeah.
Well, he could just win on anything at the moment, but that takes away from your training performance if we said that. And this horse is in rare form. It was a good gutsy win in the Geelong Cup. You would have come in today confident?
Oh, a little bit confident. You know, another rise up in class, which I don't know whether he could handle it or not. Because he's 8-year-old. And he's had about 17 runs this time in.
Is that enough for this preparation?
Where do you go from now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe for a rest. Jeff, well done.
Yeah, thanks.
Jeff Rogers, the winning trainer. Here is Johnny Letts with this man of the moment, Brett Preble. This is an unbelievable performance.
Well, Brett, 9 winners again for the Carnival. If anyone had said to you last year after the great Carnival you had, you're going to do it again next year, what would you have said?
Said you got to be on some sort of drug or good drinking.
And Savrocker, you know, he's done the part for you. I think he was going to turn him out after he won down at Geelong, wasn't it, the Geelong Cup? And now he's come out here and helped you on the way, and you've still got another one to go on the way. So can you do it?
Oh, well.
When you're hot?
When you're hot, mate. And, you know, if we give every chance, well, then they can finish off. So let's hope so.
I think, Brett, we might have to name a race after you next year and not let you ride in it.
Let you ride in
it. Yeah, congratulations, mate. It's a terrific effort again. And, you know, maybe you might break it in the next. We hope you do. Good on you, buddy.
Absolutely unbelievable performance by Brett Preble, accepting not only John Lett's congratulations, but the congratulations of Jason Patton, who was behind him. He broke a record last year that stood for 52 years, and now he's equalled a record that stood for 12 months, and it's his own record. 9 winners over the Melbourne Cup Carnival. There's the official finishing order, 5, 11 and 6.